Now, for the last year, our Paris correspondent Andrew Harding has been investigating the gangs who operate on the north coast of France and orchestrate migrants crossing to the UK in small boats. Well, this evening, he lifts the veil on how the smuggling gangs work, both across Europe and here in the UK. His report comes as a new scheme to tackle the small boats crisis comes into force tomorrow following a deal between the UK and France where some migrants arriving in the UK by boat will be detained and then returned to France. In return, the UK will accept asylum seekers who've not tried to cross the Channel and can pass security and eligibility checks. The Home Secretary has declined to put a figure on how many migrants will be returned under this new scheme. Up to last month, more than 25,000 people had crossed the Channel, almost 50% higher than the same point last year. So let's start this hour with Andrew's exclusive report.
We're undercover with the people smugglers in their forest hideout. We've spent the last year tracking one criminal gang, a gang responsible for at least a dozen deaths in the Channel. We filmed them secretly near the French coast. We followed them and their passengers as they play hide and seek with the police. And we followed the money all the way to Birmingham to expose the gang's international network.
Excuse me, sir, we're from BBC News. We know you are linked to a people smuggling gang.
Our investigation began back in April last year. We witnessed this battle on a French beach, police clashing with smugglers. In the chaos, 5 people were trampled to death on board a small boat, including this 7-year-old girl, Sarah. In the weeks after, we start to track the gang responsible across Europe, eventually confronting one of the gang's leaders, an Iraqi Kurd, in Luxembourg.
We know who you are, you're a smuggler. No.
But he leaves, and although we promptly inform the French authorities, they tell us they've been unable to find him anywhere in Europe.
We are playing chess, but they are always one step ahead of us. These people quickly vanish.
So we start digging deeper into the gang's operations in northern France and beyond. Identifying other gang members from our own footage of that night on the beach when Sarah died.
What happened?
Then tracking them on social media where they seem to flaunt their wealth. We then confirm their identities with families who've paid the gang and learned that some of the smugglers have even crossed by small boat to the UK themselves, posing as asylum seekers. Months later, we track one of those smugglers to this migrant hostel in Wakefield and stake it out for days.
No, this isn't them.
But we lose him. He's still at large. Back in France, we get closer to the gang, following it as it guides people towards specific beaches we now believe are under its control. On those beaches, we film small boats launching, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. We can't be certain our gang is behind these incidents, but contacts help us confirm 7 more deaths in the Channel directly linked to its operations. And we hear other stories of violence in the migrant camps, people sending us messages about beatings here. He put a gun to my head one night. He's a very dangerous guy. He slapped me so many times. I don't want them to hurt me.
Over the past year, we've built up a good picture of how this gang has grown and evolved and how it continues to evade the police. For example, it's changed its name 5 times. It has no social media profile to speak of, and it's constantly changing all its phone numbers. Well, all but one. One mobile phone number has stayed the same throughout, helping us to confirm that the leaders of the gang are all still in business.
And it's now that we decide to penetrate the gang ourselves, starting in Brussels.
So this is a big moment for us. We've been researching this gang for months, and we are now ready for my colleague here, who's an Arabic speaker, to pose as a migrant and to try now by phone to book a seat on a small boat.
Hello, I want to leave soon.
Tomorrow is good. The price is 1,400 euros.
I want to pay in Britain.
The smuggler's name is Abdullah, in charge of logistics in France, a key role. He agrees the money can be paid in Britain, specifically in Birmingham. He wants it to happen fast.
So in about 10 minutes' time, we hope we're going to have a rendezvous to hand over the money to one of the smugglers or a member of the smugglers' network here in the UK, inside Birmingham Station here.
We get ready to film the exchange secretly. Another BBC colleague, pretending to be our undercover reporter's relative, stands ready with the money. The contact, named Bachmann, arrives. He's relaxed, unsuspecting.
I have the money with me, £900, right?
The man takes the cash and leaves.
So that's it. He's taken the money and left the station. Now, you may well be asking why we would pay money to criminals. Well, we believe it is the only way that we can gain access to the gang and expose its network, not least its network here in the UK.
At which point we need to rush back to France, to our main undercover reporter, who is now ready to begin his journey with the gang.
So we're back now in northern France. We have essentially bought a ticket on a small boat, and our colleague, who's posing undercover as a migrant, is just ahead of us in a bus. He is going to meet the smuggling gang.
Our colleague is filming with a hidden camera as Abdullah, the smuggler, gives him directions towards his forest camp. It's a dangerous place. We have a security team as backup. There are often stabbings and gun battles between rival gangs. But when our smuggler appears, he seems relaxed, on his own turf. He asks for a final payment, a total of 1,400 euros for the crossing.
If the weather is good, we will leave on Tuesday. We need to move early to avoid the police. It's a cat and mouse game with them.
2 days later, the group is on the move, arriving first by train in Boulogne. The smuggler, Abdullah, sometimes keeping his distance, then buying tickets for the whole group as they crowd onto a bus. Early evening, and our undercover reporter has slipped away for his own safety, while we now follow the group openly as they head towards the coast. They find a spot to hide overnight. They see us, but don't try to stop us filming.
Or is it the first time?
In fact, Abdullah briefly agrees to talk, claiming he's a migrant from Iran who's tried twice to get to the UK.
Good luck.
So we are in the woods, not far from the sea. There's a group of about 30 waiting here. Everyone's very quiet because the police are around. We've seen them and they are looking for this group. But soon the police find them. They count everyone and keep watch until nightfall. Early the next morning, Abdullah informs the group their boat has been destroyed by the police overnight. That's happening a lot now. And so they trudge away to wait for another chance to cross. Days later, we'll confront Abdullah by phone and he'll calmly deny everything. But before that, we have one more trip to make. Back to Birmingham and another confrontation. We've told the gang we have more people wanting to pay for a small boat crossing. They send someone new to collect the cash.
Excuse me, sir, we're from BBC News. You're Kurdish, yes? We know you are linked to a people smuggling gang that's responsible for at least a dozen deaths in the Channel.
He vanishes, the way this gang always seems to do.
You got away, but we know that gang is responsible now for at least 12 deaths in the Channel, and that for now The police here and in France seem powerless to stop them.
Well, that was Andrew Harding's report, and as you can see, Andrew is here in the studio with me. Extraordinary detail in your film, but I suppose it underlines just how difficult it is to smash these gangs.
It does, I think. You saw the phone numbers being changed, a very low online profile this gang has, so quite hard to be tracked through the TikTok videos that a lot of gangs use. The fact that these gang members can disappear across borders, and it becomes very difficult for the French authorities to then liaise quickly enough with Belgium, with Germany, as far as Turkey and beyond, in order to actually catch these people before they vanish, lie low, and then pop up again. We're hearing stories of smugglers who go back to Iraq for a year, spend their money, and then come back to the beaches to earn more.
Did you get any sense, as you were filming over this time, that any of these new agreements that the UK government has made, they've made an agreement with France, an agreement with Germany recently, is putting any pressure on these people smuggling gangs?
I've only been covering this story for a couple of years, but of course it's been going on for many years, and my colleagues all say that every time there's a new announcement, they get asked to go to Calais to ask the migrants, is this going to make you change your mind? And the answer is always the same: no. We're here, we're nearly in the UK. We've paid our money. We believe, from what we hear, that if we can get across, we've got a reasonable chance of a better life. And for now, that's still the calculation that people are making.
And we are seeing people make that calculation, taking extraordinary risks. And we can also see, we saw it in your film, the amounts these people are actually making, these gangs.
They are. And the French authorities and the British are incrementally tightening things, making it harder for the gangs, not with one big flashy moment or plan or policy, but with multiple different ways. And they are having more success, particularly in France, in getting the boats, slashing them or finding them, confiscating them before they get to the beaches. So the French are saying roughly 70% of all boats are actually being intercepted, and yet the numbers don't lie. The number of people getting across is increasing because the need is there, the demand is there, first of all. These smugglers are simply meeting that demand, and they are very good at adapting.
Andrew, thank you very much for all of that. A pointer, because do head to the BBC's website, because Andrew has written a very long piece detailing, and there it is on the screen, just what you saw in his film, but much more detail. I was just chatting to Andrew a moment or so ago. He was saying many more stories and how they actually followed this gang, how they trailed them, and more of the evidence that they uncovered. So head to the website. That is well worth a read.